rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen. When we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. They have the talent. They have it.
Hey there, guys! It's me, the artist known as Ryan, and I'm an idiot. That's just what it is. Like, it was a fail right off the rip. We won't talk about it, though. But welcome to episode 35, 4-4-0 and goal. To my right, on your screen at least, I'm using my left hand right now, but this guy here is Samuel Torres. On the bottom, we have the artist formerly known as Thumb. Down on there on the bottom with his man bun and water bottle, looking mighty fresh. So at the beginning of the show, why am I an idiot? Well, you know, I told him that we were live, and we weren't. So that's why we're a couple minutes running late tonight. No big deal. Is what it is. How you got? Yeah, way the road, boys. How's everyone doing tonight? Anything new? Anything big going on in your life? Or we just, you know, I got to go swimming today with my son, who asked me about, 450 times in a matter of 12 minutes. It was great. Just totally ecstatic about that. But other than that, it's been nice. I got my training done for my new job, so I'm pretty pumped. I start my new job on Monday. I'm very excited about that.
Very good.
But other than that, I have the weekend off. I'm pretty pumped about that. First time I think I really in the past decade of my life that I've been employed. Well, I've been employed for the past decade, but during the employment time, I've never actually had a Saturday off. Very, very rarely, with the exception of vacation time and call offs, I guess. It's about the only time I've gotten a Saturday off. So tomorrow, knowing like it's legitimately my day off, I'm pretty pumped about it. So what's up with you two?
Man, you're looking at it. This is my Friday night gig. Looking forward to, talking a little bit of sports, a little bit of how COVID relates to it. Just some local stuff. I guess it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow, so I don't know how much outside stuff I'm going to get done. But
way to ruin my first Saturday off in a year. Or a decade.
It probably would. It probably wouldn't have rained if you had to work, Ryan. Go to work.
Right, that's true. That's true. So what's up with the name change down there, Tom? What are we going to?
So I'm referring, we talk about drip. I'm dripping in a Purple Rain shirt this eve. One of my favorite artists of all time, Prince, gone too soon. Rest in peace to him, that angel. I would have put on a raspberry beret if I had one, but unfortunately I lost that.
Would it be the kind you buy at a secondhand store?
Yeah, and since it's warm, I probably wouldn't wear much more. So be doing it
right. Sounds like to me we lost out on this situation.
You did. You guys did. We got the preview of Mr. February for our calendar.
That's right. Wait, what is a beret? Was it a beret?
Listen, Ryan, it's a Prince song. She wore a raspberry beret.
The kind you find.
It can be. Yeah, Stoney's right. First off, stop. Second, maybe he's probably talking to me because a little bit of delay. But still have no idea what a beret is. I mean,
Yeah,
you wear it on your head. I'm assuming?
Little hat.
It's a hat. It's one of those things that you put on top of that giant melon on top of your shoulders.
Yeah.
The thing that I had, so this is a beret.
No.
There's no way this isn't a real life thing.
I'm more angry.
Audience out
I
there,
think it's
did
a
Sammy
fashion
just
show,
say that a beret is a hat? I think
I
he
said
did.
it is a hat. It's not every hat. It is a cowboy. Is what you're wearing a cowboy hat?
Nope.
If you're Kenny Chesney, hell yeah, it is.
Yes, it is. You're all right,
But,
Tom. You're
Listen,
Kenny
I'm going to tell you
Chesney.
one thing, Ryan, about fashion, real quick. I know one of
Yeah.
us had our own stylist, and one of us got our shit from Fashion Bug. That's what I know. Okay.
Hey, listen, I
Oh,
just got a
shit.
hot deal down at the Gordman's. It's closing, let me tell you. 2 years ago, but
shit.
hey, it is what it is.
Hey, so
Oh,
some big news
Lord.
for me.
Uh-oh.
The office might be short-lived here. I might not have this office anymore, guys. Currently house shopping. Got a hot lead, a hot prospect, if you will.
Very good. Very good.
And might be moving down to the harbor here soon. So I'll be fully in Tony's doghouse and the Squire shop, slicking my hair back, wearing a wife beater every day, sweatpants, windbreaker pants, loafers, just walking around getting real greasy with it. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
If you gave yourself, you kind of have a mullet in a way.
Yeah.
And you would look so much like Kenny Powers in one of them Nike
I would.
jumpsuits walking down the road.
I
All
mean,
you
I
need
talk
is
like it. I
a
swear, every 3 seconds
cigarette.
we're on the road.
You just need a cigarette and like some 8 gold chains all at once hanging around your neck.
8 gold chains, like
But
a Chavo
maybe
rank.
4 of them, like long, a little shorter, a little shorter, a little shorter. And I didn't realize. So if you would have said like a green beret, then I would have known what it is. But I mean, I'm still just trying to think about this hat, and I'm really confused. But it's fine.
Oh shit! All right.
No
so anyway,
big deal.
you guys got all the updates on
Anywho,
us? COVID.
yeah, we gotta move that way. Give me a second, guys. Let me hit the
Strap on
button
that
on
board.
the screen. COVID-19 update. Let me share a screen. Bada bing, bada boom. Here we go. COVID-19, 534 cases in Beulah, 45 deaths.
Ryan
We moved
is,
up 100.
before we start that, Ryan's acting like he doesn't know what a beret is, even though there's clearly a picture of him wearing one on the internet.
I almost just swallowed my chest.
No, you didn't.
No,
Wait,
listen.
hold on. Let me
That looks
fix
like-
this because obviously
dude
that
looks
wasn't
like
a
Jared
COVID-19
Crane.
update.
That should look like Jared Brain if he gained 50 pounds and became
Oh
wasp.
my god! Oh.
If Jared was a wasp,
That's
50
too
pounds
much.
heavier, that's Jared Frayne.
Anywho, all right. COVID update. We did increase 1 in the death toll. My God, look at that number though. 1,733. I think it's 33. It's gonna. Let me look
That's
online.
yesterday's number, dude, and it grew.
Yeah.
It is not good. It is not good. And
Yeah.
But
actually,
I want to go to the goddamn bar past 10 p.m.
well, listen, I said on the last show, I think it's really dumb, the whole 10 o'clock shutdown, because all you're doing is causing like a bottleneck. You're causing more people to crowd a space in a smaller amount of time. I really think the way to go about this is to open it up, add some hours, allow people to spread out, their patronage to local businesses. I've said a couple times, I don't think Walmart should be shutting down. I guarantee you, Ryan hit the wrong button again.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, I listen, I don't think that they should be shutting down. I feel like the longer stores are open, the longer bars are open, the less likely people are going to go in there and pack into each other, pack in together. If this 10 o'clock thing, I can see bouncing, bouncing back and hitting us in the face, because you're going to have more people in the bar right on top of each other, and then people are going to be in there at 10 o'clock just hammering down drinks, and then you can also take
Just
3 of
getting
them
blown
home.
out.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I mean, people are going to
Yep.
get blown out, not respect social distancing, and it's just it's gonna be a shit show. But open it up longer, I do agree. Because Corona doesn't have a time, man. It ain't gonna start coming after 10 p.m. I mean, Corona ain't standing around like Spice Adams, that meme behind the tree where he's like that.
Yeah, no, dude.
That ain't Corona.
You're not more or less likely to get Corona at 10:01. You're
No,
not
you're not.
more or less likely to get Corona at 11:01. All right? It's really, you are more or less likely to get Corona based on your level of compliance with safety measures. That's
Exactly.
what really matters. The problem is you drive around and people aren't wearing masks. I see people packed on top of each other. I drove down Bridge Street today, and down there I see people hitting these little shops, not wearing masks. Or my favorite, I'm gonna wear my mask like this. What the hell is that doing?
You mean that doesn't work?
Like, unbelievable. Just wear the mask. Like, it's real simple. And I know. Bah. I'm a sheep. Get it? See what I did there? Bah.
It is what it is. I don't get into it. Let's try not to get too heavy into the politics of it. We all know people have their own opinions. Keep having them. It doesn't matter in the end. It
your
is what it
opinion
is.
stops-
Things are.
Your opinion stopped that infecting me. That's where your opinion stops.
All right. So let's move into first thing off of Corona, on to some thank yous, and really it's to the audience, to the everyone out there. 849 followers. Last show when we started, we bumped up about 50 followers after we had Edgewood on. So thank you to Warrior Nation out there. If you're on
Coach
here watching
Butchko.
right now,
Oh, hell yeah.
thank you so much for that. We started this show, 3 months ago, and I never knew it would grow in popularity the way it is. And it's just taking off, man. It really is.
Yeah.
It's been a fun ride, but let's keep going. I want 1,000. I want everyone to know who we are, what we're here to do, and what we're here to talk about. Remember, guys, we're here to talk about the kids. Eventually, we're not going to be just in front of the computer monitor here with the camera on. We're going to be live, talking to kids, football games, baseball games, basketball games, a lot of different things going on that we plan on being part of. So thank you again.
Yesterday I took the kids out for ice cream down in Frosty Harbor. I got to see
This is a great story.
one of the local. I'm not going to go that deep into it, but
Damn it.
I got to see one of the local athletes you're going to get to see this year, St. John's own David DeSalvatore. He asked him about football. He's excited, ready to play. When I got a chance to get down to Jefferson, get some pictures down there, kids, like Bruckman and Castrilla and these guys, really excited to play football this year. So, regardless of what gets shut down, I hope they do leave it down to a county level to decide what's going to happen. I just hope that the counties have enough foresight to make the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't sugarcoat it and I won't beat around the bush. What I mean by the right decision is county football. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stop leaving things up to chance. I believe that the safest way to proceed with the fall football schedule this year is by all Ashtabula County teams playing Ashtabula County teams, and here's why. I'm going to share my screen real quick, Rye.
Nope, you're not allowed to. I wouldn't do it if I were you. Oh, perfect.
As you can see on this screen, you have orange, 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 yellow. Everybody else around here is yellow. This red county right here stopped football altogether.
Yes, they did. Yes, they
So
did.
you've got Lake that is higher than we are. Geauga is higher than we are. Trumbull is higher than we are. And then there's Ashtabula who's in the yellow.
Which is just crazy.
I feel like it's common sense at this point. It goes without saying at this point that the largest county in Ohio, being Yellow, it is easy enough to have those schools play each other and minimize the risk on the kids, the spectators, and the families.
Yep.
This is the way to go about it.
Even if it was county only, no attendance, can't attend the game. They're just going to play on a Friday night like they usually would with the rest of the coaches, and it gets live broadcasted by the schools. Call it what you want. I mean, us as a show, honestly, we don't really want that. We want to be able to go to the stadium and interview with these kids. But if it allows them to play, again, like we've always said with this show, we are about the kids. If this allows the kids to play, let them do it. Like I know Lakeside uses Boxcast or Boxcaster. I can't remember what it's called.
They use Boxcast. St. John uses Boxcast. I believe Edgewood does. Right. Jefferson, I'm not sure if anybody watching here has any knowledge on Jefferson with Boxcast usage and how they broadcast. But listen, if they don't, then we will.
Right.
We'll get there and we'll show the game. There's no shame here. We want to be there anyway. So it just makes sense. And I understand that. I completely understand that playoffs and stuff like that people are thinking about. But here's the other thing. Playoffs aren't happening this year. Cleveland teams, some of the best teams in the Northeast aren't playing football this year. They're trying to push it to the spring. Cincinnati wants to push football to the spring. Toledo wants to push football to the spring. Okay?
Hotbeds.
This is where state champions are coming. I've got news for you. They've got a little bit of skin in the game. They've got a little bit more pull.
They do.
Okay?
100%.
So to the local teams that, playoffs is a cool thing just to make it.
Yeah.
Maybe this year you kind of have to put that aside because ultimately what could happen is you could have what I think would be tragic. And I know that as a senior in high school, if I didn't get to play football my senior year, that year would have been drastically different.
Well, genuinely think about it. I mean, so one, if they go through, obviously they're like Cuyahoga County teams aren't playing, but let's say with Trumbull County below us here. And I know I do believe it's Lakeside is in a big Trumbull division. Like they play like 5 or 6 schools that are out of the Youngstown area.
It's not. No, it's not just Lakeside. It's Lakeside and Geneva.
No, I know.
They're all in that Chagrin Valley now.
Yeah. Okay, so everyone that's in the Chagrin Valley, they decide, you know what, we're going to go forth with it. We're going to see what happens. Well, once the season starts, there's no changing it. There's no audible. So you get into 2 games, all right, and one player on one team has it. Look what the MLB is doing right now. They're just shutting stuff down. That's it.
Down right
they're shutting it down. So all that's going to happen is going to end their season. It's going to end prematurely, and it's going to be a disappointment for all the seniors on that team. And then you also got to look at the juniors and sophomores that are coming up. They're going to miss out on a whole year of educating themselves and becoming better.
The CVC has already taken a hit because with Cuyahoga County coming out and their health department standing up and showing leadership and saying, no, there's not going to be football this year because we're a red county and we just can't seem to get this under control. The CVC has lost those teams. They are not allowed to play football this year. They are not allowed. So you're already down. So the CVC can take a seat on the side this year.
Yep.
Because that conference is not going to matter. And honestly, it doesn't matter overall because there's not going to be a high school playoff this year. Okay?
It's an assumption, just so everyone knows. We're not stating that. It is under an assumption, so everyone knows.
These kids, it's an educated estimation.
It's a hypothesis.
It's a hypothesis of what's going to happen.
We don't know the real answer. That's what it is.
Yeah, when you have three of the biggest football areas in the state, all 3 of them saying, "Yeah, we're not playing in the fall." Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't see how that's going to happen. Don't forget, Cuyahoga County, St. Ed's, St. Ignatius, Glenville. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
But getting back to the point is, for these kids who are going to have such a non-traditional senior year, where a good portion of their classes could be remote. Lunch tables are different. School dances are going to be wildly different. The way you socialize is inhibited because of this virus. Okay? Why not give them something to tie their knot to? That's special. That's just theirs.
Yeah.
So that for 1 year, county football mattered again.
Yep.
For 1 year, people cared again about football. Because this is the truth, and this isn't just my words. This is I went to pick up dinner today, and I was talking to the business owner at Wade's Possibilities, who is going to be our business of the day coming up. And as I'm talking to him about this, complete strangers who were sitting there enjoying their dinner turn around and say, you know what? That's one of the reasons why I stopped going to football games. I don't know who these kids are playing. I don't know who these people are.
Yep.
I have no ties to Ursuline. I have no ties to Youngstown. I don't know where Coshocton is.
Yeah.
But you know what I do know? I know where Jefferson is. I know that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you're right. You're right in every aspect of it. I do believe all the teams in this county need to play more often. This year, especially. This year, with everything that's going on with COVID, there's no reason for the teams not to play each other and just simplify it and keep it so these kids can play. I understand, though, like in a 10-game season, you may not want to play everyone in Ashtabula County. When we were juniors, Sammy, I think juniors, maybe sophomores, we had the privilege to go to a playoff game, and we got our teeth kicked in and all that fun stuff. But those experiences won't ever happen by staying in Ashtabula County and Ashtabula County only. I think really what we need to do is put together, it doesn't even have to be the NEC. We always talk about it being the NEC. Again, that's what it was called before. We just need to put in, these schools, if you have a school within 30 minutes of you and they're the same size, play them. There's just bragging rights. It's just about being, one with that county. When a home game's only 20 minutes away, the visitors are going to come. Same thing, across the board. But I agree with what you're saying. This year should be an exception. This year, there should be an Ashtabula County League. There should be a Cuyahoga County League. However they want to do it, I don't care. But obviously, my total focus is Ashtabula County and these kids being able to play football this year, and basketball, because this is going to roll right into the basketball season. Let's be honest. This is going to result. What are you going to tell, the 10 kids on the basketball team? You're not playing at all this year because the schools don't want to, just figure it out and make things easy. Obviously, the easy thing is, what's the easy thing? Axe it, move on, hope for better next year. That's the easiest thing you can do right now, right?
You're right.
The
kids deserve better than that.
Right.
The kids deserve better.
The kids deserve better. And this year is the exception. Like it was stated before, I think it was in the Star Beacon, News Herald, that it would be a one and done, which is fine. One and done it. Let them play 8 games, 10 games, whatever it is. Let them play. Make a damn trophy for it just this year if you have to. Call it a day. Whoever wins it, wins it. But it's going to spark the fire again. There's nothing wrong with playing teams out of Youngstown next year.
No.
There's nothing wrong with playing teams out of Cuyahoga next year. You can go to Coshocton and play them. But do it next year. But keep 5 of your games in-house.
In-house. Right. I can understand St. John not wanting to play Lakeside every year, St. John not wanting to play Geneva every year, simply based on the size, number-wise, of the teams. It's not necessarily fair for a Division 6 to play a Division 2 or a Division 3. It's not necessarily fair. Although I'll tell you this, the kids don't care, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many kids you have in that school. On the field, only 11 of you can be there.
Exactly.
So on the field, 11 of you can be there. And I'll be honest with you, the talent right now is as even as it's ever been. So I think that the games would be a lot closer than people believe, than people think. And yeah, there might be some blowouts. But guess what? There can be some blowouts too when you're driving 45 minutes south. Okay?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But the other thing too is that we have
what
to consider,
makes more sense. And I would love for any athletic director who's watching or anybody who is friends with an athletic director, if they could come on here and clarify this, because this is what was brought up to me, is I understand that it's a money thing. Okay. So sometimes maybe playing different schools and all that stuff is going to bring in more money. But what's going to bring in more money is my question. Them paying you. You have lost all interest in your program. You have lost all interest in the sport, and the kids now get to play like they're a Miami Marlins player in front of an empty stadium, and for football that doesn't matter. Or maybe you're not a playoff contender, or maybe you are. But even if you aren't a playoff contender, I will bring up our senior year I'll bring our senior year up for example. Okay. Our senior year, we go 6-4. We get absolutely destroyed by non-conference opponents. Get our tail kicked. Even lost to Collinwood that year. We go 5-0 in the NEC, and all the way to the last game, to the last play, playing Geneva, the game mattered. The stands are packed. You have a radio announcer overhead giving scores at our game. You have radio announcers over at Conneaut giving scores of our game there too. It mattered. And we didn't care that we weren't playing Massillon or Solon next week, because all we cared about at that time was that we were going to beat this team that is from 15 minutes down the road, because that's what mattered. And that's if you're good enough, you're going to make the playoffs anyway. Because you can load your non-conference schedule up as much as you possibly want.
So one, this is a great question by Coach Rich. But two, I have a little bit of breaking news. It's not totally breaking news. I don't know if you wanted me to hit the button to make it official.
We make these graphics for a purpose.
Yeah, hold on. All right, so let me share my screen because I became all right, so this, you guys see it?
It's loading.
OHSAA football on Friday, July 31st. The OHSAA, so today, the OHSAA Board of Directors reaffirmed their position that the OHSAA fall sports season will go forward as planned. That means all fall sports are permitted to begin official practices tomorrow, as has been previously announced. So, like I said, not dramatic breaking news, but obviously, you know, the Cuyahoga County Board of Health says no go to football. It's no go. But right now, that means tomorrow, I'm assuming, I don't know, if I'm coaching first day of practices, we're getting it. You know what I mean? If I can start practicing tomorrow, that means Lakeside, Geneva, Edgewood, Jefferson, Grand Valley, Pymatuming, Conneaut, they're all rolling. They're all rolling tomorrow with no exceptions. That's what that means. So also, no, I'm sorry. I don't know where I was going with it. Oh yeah. Coach Rich does have a great question. And I do. Oh, yeah, hold on. Sorry.
So if your son is a good football player in one of these schools that are not having football player, would you transfer your son without question?
Yep.
Without question.
Well,
it depends on the safety, though. It depends on the safety of everything.
The bigger question is the OHSAA going to allow it?
Correct.
Because now you're already talking about an OHSAA that makes it so if you go from a public school to a private school or from a private school to a public school, you have to sit out half a season.
Yep. So do they do the NCAA thing where they have the hardship waiver? You know what I mean? Like, So like Justin Fields at Ohio State, he took advantage of that when he transferred from Georgia. Usually in college, you have to sit out a full season. You use the red shirt if you didn't have it, and then you can play. He used the hardship waiver that was introduced. I think at a time like this, the OHSAA, it behooves them, it's my catchphrase, to create what's called the COVID waiver. The COVID waiver. If your son is a prolific athlete, so let's just say for shits and giggles here.
Let's take that off, though, Tom. I agree with you, though. I agree with you, bro.
Doesn't have to be prolific.
Take off prolific. If your son is an athlete,
son's an athlete, yep.
Because I don't care if he's great or if his jersey looks like mine did on Friday.
Yep.
Football, yeah, absolutely. But what I'm getting at is like let's say a dude like Julian Fleming from Pennsylvania last year, number 1 receiver in the state, right? But he still wasn't the number 1 receiver yet. He was like maybe number 6 or 7. He needed last season to cement himself as number 1 and then create that top recruiting class for Ohio State, right? So if he's in a county that isn't playing football, he would have had to go, like, let's say he was in where he was near State College. He needed to transfer to like Neshannock or Newcastle where they are having football. He would have had to sit out because of those rules in Pennsylvania football. COVID waiver. Hey, I can come in and play. I have a great season against top talent in the Newcastle, Neshannock, New Wilmington area, Pittsburgh. I'm now number 1 receiver. You know what I'm saying? So it helps him. Even if he's not a great athlete.
All I'm saying, if I live in Cuyahoga County and my good friend Tom and Sammy live in Ashtabula County, Cuyahoga says no to football. Ashtabula is full bore football. Guess what? I'm putting a change of address. I'm not legit moving. My son's address will be there. He can stay at someone's house 4 or 5 nights a week to make it legit. He's going to play ball there. However you got to do it. Whatever workaround there is, because there's a workaround for everything. It doesn't matter how you look at it.
He's going to play ball under my stairs, bro.
Well, listen,
no problem.
I've had a problem with the whole sit out. Hold on. Beyond also, with schools accept more open enrollment, they already are planning certain numbers in classrooms and stuff. Yeah, So
that's a good question too.
It is a good question. Beyond the OHSAA, so that's where the schools really have to take into account. Are they able to take on that student? And I will tell you this, and this is where life is not fair. This is where what Tom was talking about earlier definitely comes into play. I can promise you that a school will find a spot for a star athlete before they would for a mediocre athlete.
Correct.
Ultimately, though, the transfer portion of it, I've always had a problem with it because when there's open enrollment in your area, you should be able to go and play football or basketball or wrestling or softball or volleyball or cross country or whatever you are passionate about. You should be able to go and become a student athlete there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because these restrictions they put, and I understand why, okay? I am not completely blind to the fact that there are some schools that are going to actively recruit, and I know for a long time parochial schools actively recruited to the point of they wanted a parochial state champion and a public state champion because St. Ed's and St. Ignatius and St. Xavier, all these private schools were able to get these primetime athletes in there because of, scholarships and stuff like that. That is neither here nor there. I'm not going to dive into that right now, even though I do believe that there's some truth to that. A kid should be able to pick whatever school he wants to go to, and that's where he goes. Because you don't know that kid's story.
Correct.
You know what I mean? You don't know that kid's story. And what if the kid is, in an abusive home and he's got to go live with Aunt for a while because dad is, in the clink. But Aunt lives in Andover and he went to Lakeside. So now he goes to PV and he's got to sit? No, that's stupid. These are kids. These are kids, dude.
Yeah.
Fine move, bro.
Yeah. It really is. I mean, it's got to be what's best for the kids. It's just what it is. We've talked about that a million times, and we'll continue talking about that regardless.
And you can't redo your senior year.
No, you
You
can't.
can't. You got one shot at your
You
senior year.
can. Technically, you
College,
can.
You don't get a redshirt year.
You know, you're not ever going to get your senior year of football back. All right, that's not coming back.
Right.
All right,
Correct.
homecoming game doesn't come back. Senior night will never happen again. All right, the fall, these things that there are
That's not
kids, I
true.
guarantee you, because I was one of them, that you look every year in high school and you're like, I can't wait until my senior night where I get to walk out there arm in arm with my mom and dad and they get to be proud of me. You know what I mean? That's a great feeling for a lot of kids. They look
Senior
forward
night
to
can't
that,
happen
man.
twice, Sammy. Senior night, your night can't happen twice. It happened to me. It happened to me. College, baseball, senior year, I walked on out that son bitch. They announced
Listen,
my name.
high
Next year
school-
I came out and they were like, somehow this dude has another senior year, Tom Roth. And I was like, hey.
No, but I'm just like that senior. I'm telling you that senior year, that senior night, you know, those memories you'll make are forever, and to take those away from kids is criminal. It's criminal.
It is.
It's
It
criminal unless of course you are doing absolutely everything within your power.
Sorry, guys.
Correct.
No, yeah, I mean,
Sorry, I had to
absolutely.
grab a
like,
drink.
Yeah, I have a real problem with it, and I'll be honest with you. I think. Let me approach this lightly because we still have more people to get on the show. I think the immediate dismissal of county football was very disappointing to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, but who
Okay.
dismissed it?
I don't know who is responsible for dismissing it.
But that's an assumption right now. That is not.
Oh, no.
Truth.
That's not an assumption. That was the News Herald reporting it, and 14 hours later, it coming out that the 4 schools in question have all reaffirmed their position within the CVC. So I don't know what got the ball rolling for everybody to do that, but it was disappointing because county-only football is the most logical thing at this point. I think I'll be honest with you, I think it's your best shot. I think it's your best shot to see your son play football or your daughter cheerlead for football this fall is if they're playing within the county. I think that's your best shot.
It's the safest. I mean, if there's any option, the safest option is not playing, which no one wants to see that. The second safest option is staying within your county so you can control the variable. That's just what it is.
Hey, that was a good word.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Moving into one other topic, OHSAA does determine no scrimmages in Ohio high school football.
That's a start.
It's a start. I can understand it. They can still scrimmage each other. In the end, scrimmages are nice to have. We've all been there. Whether it's baseball, basketball, football, it doesn't matter. We've all scrimmaged another team just to see what they're about versus, where we're at. I'm sorry, I was reading the chat.
Let's just be honest. I mean, think about what scrimmages are. Okay, you scrimmage the typical team, the average team scrimmages teams from very far away. All of our scrimmages, for instance, were, Youngstown teams. We had Cleveland Glenville come up. We had Warren JFK come up. We had Warren G. Harding come up. Got to play against that monster Maurice Claret, which was not fun. That's what those scrimmages are for, is to play these teams from far away. And I think the OHSAA realizes that. So they're like, yeah, you can't really have scrimmages because we don't want you I think they understand you don't want teams from a red county going into a team from an orange county, because then at the end of that scrimmage, they could both be red counties. I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
But they don't want to. They don't want to come down.
The scrimmages are nice, but they're not needed. The scrimmages are not needed. It's nice to have them, but it's not a necessity. Well, I mean, so they're not needed this year. Let me go that route, because they're not needed based off of the circumstances that all these high schools are dealing with.
Yeah, they can be cut.
If
They can be cut.
right. That's what I'm saying. Are they needed? 5 years ago, yeah, if OHSAA decided no, we're not doing this just to do it, no, it'd be dumb. That's how you kind of get to see where your players are at. You know, you get to see the tier. The running back from Team A versus us is a stud, and we're getting mollywopped by them, and we know where we need to improve. But this year, it's another variable that you don't need to have in there. So eliminate it and be done with it.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you got to make cuts somewhere. So I agree with you there. I'll tell you what. I think you're going to see a lower quality of football this year. I'll tell you that.
Well, why? Because
you can't teach game speed.
But you can learn game speed as you go. Scrimmage one is week one. Win or loss.
As you're playing. Right. But I'm going to tell you that the competitive level, playing against a team of people who aren't at your school, playing against teams or players that are from your school, is completely different.
Sure.
It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, you go harder, they go harder. There's more pride involved. Don't get me wrong. I think the scrimmage thing is the right thing to do. Unfortunately, it sucks. You got to do it though, because of just, the way it works. I think
it goes all the way from high school collegiate to the NFL, man. The first game is knocking the rust off more than anything. NFL, maybe not so much because they've been doing it as pros for, years. You're going to see it
this year with no preseason.
Right. But I mean, as at the high school level, even then, what is there? One scrimmage a year? Maybe two if you get lucky.
Most teams do two. Most teams do two.
Maybe they do. You know what I mean? Two if you're lucky, but that's still most of the time it's a controlled environment. It's 7-on-7. It's O-line versus D-line. And then you'll run like a quarter and a half of actual play with a ref there. It's not full-fledged football. Full-fledged football is week 1, week 2, week 3, and that's when you knock the rust off. And that's why most teams, you get into the collegiate level, Ohio State plays Rutgers week 1. Why do they do that?
Rutgers is in their pockets, brother.
Well, okay.
No, I mean, I know what you're saying.
Bad.
Like, they play bowling. Yeah, you're saying like, they play Bowling Green or some school like that. I see what you're saying there. I do. I get it. I get what you're saying. I agree with you in that this year, if something had to be cut, that's it. You got to cut the scrimmages, because that's the least problematic of any. You know what I mean? Will there be repercussions from that? Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There's absolutely going to be repercussions. But I think everybody agrees some football's better than no football.
Right, I was going to say, the whole goal of this year is just to play football. Win, loss, or draw, let them play. It doesn't matter. Just let the kids play. Let them have fun. Doesn't matter, go that route. So a new segment, which I don't think Sammy kind of got a video up there yet, but he was working on it, but he axed it last night late because we were up late.
Yeah,
we're going to have a rumor for that. Rumor has it segment.
I got something for you, Ryan. Hold on.
Let's see. Let me take it off, and we'll make this official. Have a little fun with it.
There's no music. It's just going to be the cheesiest thing ever. There we go. And we'll put that up there.
Rumor has it. That is terrible. That is just, you just wasted the audience's time to wait for that. But anyway, so rumor has it, and this is from a pretty good source we have. We won't name our sources just simply because it is a rumor, if it was true. And this is why I kind of disagree with you earlier, Sammy, because you were saying county football was not really a thing per the News Herald. I don't believe newspapers just as much as I believe Google. So
that's our source, guys. That's our source.
There it is.
It's a guy with a mullet and a jean jacket.
It could be. I'm thinking it's pretty similar. Right. So football will be played in county and maybe neighboring counties. Again, this is from a respectable source that knows a lot of people within the OHSAA rankings. It's not someone just, it's not Joe the plumber down the road telling us about this. This is why, again, I know the News Herald put out that, there will be no in-county play, blah, blah, blah. But whoever reported that, it means nothing to me. It genuinely means nothing. I think in the next week, we're going to see in-county only play. And there's going to be certain counties that axe it. But like we talked about before, if the Ashtabula County Board of Health decides, hey, if you're playing football this year, the only way you're playing it is in county, no one's to travel out of county.
I hope y'all are
Voila!
listening.
Voila! There it is. It doesn't matter, if that's what they suggest. So it is a suggestion. It does not mean it's a determination. But let me, excuse me, Corona. So I can't help it. I do it all the time. But if the Ashtabula County Board of Health suggests to only play in county, I can almost guarantee you every public school in Ashtabula County is only going to play in county. And that's where we go into where we have our 8 teams that are going to play, whatever. We had it broke down in a couple different divisions, different ways. Billman came up with a great way of, 8 score, 4 or 10 games total. It was a bunch of different ones, but I'm telling you, if that's what they decide and determine in the next week, that's what it's going to be. That's just it. No, I mean, regardless of your stature, regardless of the conference you play in, what you think will happen. One, what it boils down to is, and we don't have a punter grunt for this because we do have a punter grunt coming up in the next segment, after the half. But what it comes down to is, no one's going to want to go to Cuyahoga and play because of safety measures. That's just
Listen, we've had 3 coaches on here, okay? Bob Delgosh, Ed Rankin, John Butchko.
Yep.
We got Buzz Edwards coming up next week. The following week, Tom, who's coming on here?
Chip Sorber.
Chip Sorber from the Geneva Eagles.
Old
Following
Chippy.
after the week after that, all hopes are we're going to have the head coach from Conneaut on here. But so far we have had 3 coaches on here. We've got a 4th one coming up on Tuesday, so I'll ask him the same question. But all 3 coaches, when asked, said, wherever you tell us to be is where we will be. We will line up against anybody. Just tell us where and when.
It needs to be, yeah.
Yep.
That is what we need out of these guys, because I'll tell you what, St. John ain't afraid of nobody. Jefferson ain't afraid of nobody. And Edgewood wants everybody. So these games could get really, really great. They could be really, really, really great this year.
Hell yeah.
It might be to a point where we need 8 people to cover 8 different games so we could have it because it's going to be that interesting all year long.
I'm really interested to see what Buzz Edwards has to say about this because, Lakeside being one of the bigger schools, maybe they've got a different point of view on it. What Geneva with an 8-2 record last year, with both of their losses coming to teams that were undefeated. So, maybe they've got a different outlook on it too. But I'll tell you what, the guys we've had on tonight, or the guys we've had on so far, those guys are ready to play, and they'll play anybody.
Oh, God. Those guys are ready to run through brick walls, man. I mean, that's the spirit of high school football right there embodied in those 3 men. I mean, COVID be damned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what high school football is. It's that determination. It's that grit. It's that get out there, prove yourself, and, sacrifice for the good of your team. Well, these guys are ready to sacrifice maybe an easier schedule to play some tough sons of bitches out there if need be. And
I'll tell you what,
it's going to be amplified this year.
And I'll tell you what, dude, styles make a difference.
They do.
And there are different styles that match up differently against people. So, you got Edgewood. You got Edgewood with that air raid offense. You got Jefferson running a spread with a lot of RPO and crazy stuff going like that. You've got St. John running virtually a wing T. Coach Edwards, Buzz Edwards will get on here and we'll go through his offense, but I'm sure it's going to be different there.
Yeah, the footage that we've watched from last year, I'm assuming he's going to keep it similar to what he had, but they're running a spread. They're running a spread. And they're running that defense. I can't wait to talk to him about defense. I don't know if it's going to be different this year. Remember we were talking about that, Sammy?
They're running like a 3-3. like a 3-3-5 of sorts, or
Yeah,
it was
right,
like a
yeah,
hybrid nickel or something like that. But
Yeah,
like
it
I
was
said,
something
it's
wild.
not necessarily the size of the kid and the speed and the talent doesn't necessarily matter as much sometimes as the style. The style. And I'll tell you another thing too. You can be as good as you want to out here, and you can be much, much better than, school A can be dominant and school B can be mediocre. But if school A goes out there and hot dogs it, school B is going to get them because grit matters at high school and grit matters here.
Yep.
So I've said it 100
counts
times.
in high school.
I will not count any school out here. Out.
No, not
ever,
at all.
Against
We
anybody.
talked about it before. I mean, remember when we were in high school, man, Conneaut should have been a laydown for us. All day long. Should have been a laydown. No questions asked. Should have beat the tar off. We're walking in last game of the season, usually second to last, whatever it may be. And they're 2-7, somewhere in there, 2-6, and we should have beat the brakes off of them. And we come in, we by the skin of our teeth.
I'm talking about we squeak by.
And that's what you're
year.
getting. That's why we're excited about the County Football League. That hopefully does happen, because every Friday night there's gonna be a game where it's a dogfight. And who doesn't love a dogfight on a Friday night in Ohio? I mean, if you don't, that's your own prerogative. But who doesn't love to go into the fourth quarter? It's 21-21, and no one has the upper hand. All you got is a home field advantage, yelling a little bit louder than the other side. And that's not even necessarily true, because you'll be in county and you'll have just as many people on the other side. You want to see a team play harder than you've ever seen in your life? Have two teams playing each other, where one team wins and they get a share of the title. If the other team wins, they get the title solely.
Sold out, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about those kids it's every inch matters. It's tooth and nail. That's what we used to have around here. And it did not matter that we weren't playing in the playoffs the following week. It didn't matter.
Nope.
It did not matter.
All that matters is who rose that trophy for the NEC at the end of the year. That's what mattered. That's what mattered. All right, let's move into a couple before our break. We'll do it kind of quickly here. Well, maybe. But Cleveland Browns, little Browns news for all you NFLers out there. I did have it up here. 2 of the Browns players opt out for the season. Let me bring it up real quick, because I do believe one was a starter. It's 2 offensive linemen. Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, but I don't think he was a starter. I think he was a second string guy.
Drew Forbes was expected to compete for the starting right guard position this year, and he didn't
right.
get spot duty. So that's big.
Let me just validate it, so we're not talking. This should be a lot easier than this. Oh, let's see. Football is a perfect storm. JC Treader is one of them. That's why.
What?
No. I'm sorry. JC Treader is the NFLPA head. My bad. I'm saying this wrong.
Dude, you almost gave me a heart attack.
This is just going back to what Ryan was talking about. Yeah, Connie. Our senior year, Conneaut had 2 wins.
Yep.
We were undefeated within the conference. We beat them 26-20, and we didn't score the 26th point until 2 minutes in the fourth quarter. 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So it was a dogfight against a team that was out of it. And that's what this county is missing. That's what they're missing. Because that sort of grit doesn't happen when you're playing Canfield. Because it doesn't matter.
Oh,
yep, and you're right, Daniel Lane. I did say it wrong. The 2 players are offensive linemen Drew Forbes and Drake Dorbeck, I think it's pronounced. I do believe Forbes was one that was going to be vying for the starting position, and the other gentleman was just strictly a backup. But it's still interesting news on that front, just because the NFL does have the luxury of having the NBA and the MLB and seeing how things are going there. And I'm sure some of these the thoughts that these players are having are based off of what they're seeing in the MLB. I mean, the other day we reported 14 Marlins, and it may be more now, but 14 Miami Marlins were out due to COVID. And I think there were a couple. They shut down the Cardinals game. it's going to be interesting. But the one that's more interesting to me than anything, as much as I love this guy, and he is just a punter for the Browns, the Scottish Hammer gets hammered by COVID. Okay, here's
ladies
why.
And gentlemen, we were so pumped to get this damn headline out there. You have no idea.
Yes.
2 times.
Listen, the reason, that is exactly why what Tom is saying. He is now 2 times in the positive sector of COVID test results.
Yeah, he's had it twice now.
Trying to figure out what this guy's doing.
What is this
I don't
son
know.
of a bitch doing? I'll tell you what
like-
he's doing. I'll tell you what he's doing. He's at the Winking Lizard getting blown out on Guinness and Jameson and just talking to any chick that'll talk to him and going from there. Because that's Jamie Gillen. He's taking his shirt off. He's throwing that six-pack, and those droplets are going all over, baby.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to find out. I keep trying to read more about it. They don't talk a lot about punters in the NFL. They do really have one job typically. But I'm trying to figure out.
He's damn good at it.
Yeah,
good at his job,
he knows what he's doing. I'll start quitting once the season continues and losing records. I'm out. But yeah, that was a big one for me. I thought it was very interesting. So we're going to go into business of the day real quick. We're right at 9:30, so perfect timing. Don't forget, guys, second half of the show, we do have a punter grunt coming up. We haven't done that in a little while. A little bit of tribe talk, which I'm pretty excited about. That Bieber, man, he's dealing, boy. He is dealing. And then a little bit more tribe talk towards the end. So, but let me bring this up so Sammy can chat about it. Wait, now you messed me up. Oh, because Sammy, he got his hair did the other day at this gentleman's barbershop.
Well, listen, today's business of the day is going to be Mario's Barbershop, located on Center Road in Perry. I got my hair cut finally. As you can see, nice fade. Finally, I don't look like I'm trying out to be the next caveman for Geico. Went to go see Trevor Hudson at Mario's Barbershop. Gave me a real tight fade at a very good price. Very cleanly. You get in there, everything's clean. It smells clean. Limited to 3 people in there. If there's any more people in there than 3, you wait in your car. They come out and get you. Get in there for a good haircut, good conversation by a very, very skilled barber. One of the reasons I actually chose to go for him, as you can see, I mean, look at those lines, man, looking like
God, you're beautiful.
Nice right now. Listen, one of the reasons why I chose to go there is because Trevor Hudson graduated from La Barberia on Mayfield Road.
Yeah, he did.
So it's a very, very good barber school. They do a great job. Go out and if you want a great haircut, and in the words of Ricky Hernandez, who referred me there, get the fade you want. Mario's Barbershop, Center Road, Perry, Ohio. Tell them 440 and Goal sent you.
Yeah, if you want a good golf game too, Trevor's a pretty damn good golfer. I've golfed with him numerous times. So if you're a golfer, get a fade.
I'm going to get my fade up there next time with Sammy. I like those kind of fades, genuinely. But anyways, hey guys, real quick again before we get off here, I know we've had I said we're going to go after business of the day and all that, but I want to thank everyone again. 849 followers on 440 on Goals Facebook page. But please, if you can, take a minute, go over to YouTube. It's just what is it, at 440 on Goal on YouTube. I think Coach Rich is the one, he streams over there all the time. He says actually it's a better picture quality. I'm not sure because obviously we're live and we can't watch it. But if you could go over there and hit that notification bell, like us over there, and subscribe, that would be great. It's going to help us out tremendously over the next coming months. So be back here in about 4 minutes, go into the next segment. See you guys here real soon.
taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk Super Bowls, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Welcome back to the second half of the 35th episode, baby. Ready to let it ride. Did that sound weird?
Yeah, that's
Good. That's where I was going for. Oh man, what a good half of the first half of the show.
It's been a
Why has it been weird?
Dude. So like, I think I'm getting like some hives, and I got real warm, so I had to do like a wardrobe change, and now I feel like I just look like a hillbilly doing a podcast right now. Like it really sucks right now. I had to put my hair in a ponytail.
We don't look that close together. We don't. I'm sorry.
Listen, I want to say, we are not the only ones that are not happy with the OHSAA's ruling, or I guess lack of ruling, on the upcoming season. Our city manager has made a rare post, not a big poster on social media, but a very well worded post on the importance of sports and how at some point we need to stop ignoring the kids. I want to give just a brief shout out because I think Jim Timonera I think he's great for the city. Always have. I think he does a heck of a job for what he had to walk into. So it's nice to see. Ashtabula County does have some good leadership out here. We have some good leadership out here. And you're seeing more and more people speak up. It's not just city managers. It's not just council members. I love the fact that we have coaches that are not afraid to let it be known that, like, they don't give a damn what's happening. They want their kids to play football.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, as long as it's done safely. Again, I'm telling you, no fans in the stands. Just have media, coaches, refs, trainers. The usual. You would call it a day. No fans. Don't put them in a bubble per se, but even maybe there is one central field and they play on a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday. You know what I mean?
Let's not forget that the fall sports isn't just football either. As a father of daughters, volleyball plays a big part in this house. Volleyball coming up this fall, and they've already they've already talked about the seeding procedures and how that's going to work. You can only have, I think it's like 70 or 80 people are going to be allowed in there to watch these volleyball games, which really turns into you can watch your kids play at home, because when they go away, you guarantee there's going to be 70 or 80 home parents there. So, I mean, it's not just affecting football. I want everybody to know that we talk about football mostly because that's what our passion is. We don't try to ignore anything. This fall sports doesn't just affect football players. There are a lot of girls, of female athletes who work their butt off.
Oh, yeah.
For this year. There are girls that have been playing volleyball since they were 9 or 10 years old, starting, all the way down from Junior Olympics, that are going to be robbed of that senior night, that marquee matchup this year that they couldn't wait. You know what I mean? For there are girls that have trained as hard as anybody could imagine to, kick that final goal this year, to run that final cross country race. And forgive me for not knowing the, jargon used within those sports, but I just want you to know that even though we talk about football primarily on this show, we care about all of you athletes because you all deserve your season this year. And if whatever we have to do, we'll piss and moan and we'll talk and we'll keep bugging people to make sure that the kids get a shot this year.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely, it's.
I got super sad because it hits really close to home for me. There will be no Special Olympics in Ohio this year. There will be none. Some of those young men and women, man, they have been, like you said, Sammy, with volleyball. They train a long time to be able to compete at a very high level in their respective events, their respective sports. And this is the last time that they'll be able to do that. And they don't get that this year. And gosh, man, that just crushes me. I mean, being able to see the look on those kids' faces when they finish their sprints or stuff like that, it's very heartwarming because the trials and tribulations that they've had to go through in order to compete at that type of a level. And make no mistake about it, those Special Olympics athletes, man, those kids are some athletes. I mean, I don't know if you've seen those guys compete. Those kids are tough. And some of them don't get to do that. Gosh, man,
no, it's that's what I'm saying.
On Facebook and a sprinter, and dude, reading his Facebook post about what the Special Olympics means to him and how it could segue into a college education for him. Gosh, man, it's just heartbreaking that this is happening.
Well, I mean, I know we do talk predominantly about football, but genuinely, it's cross country, it's football, it's golf, it's soccer, tennis, and volleyball.
It ain't golf. Golf ain't really affected, man. Golf is unbothered.
Well, no. I mean, I understand that. I'm stating the full sport
for now until we don't have a state tournament.
Listen,
right?
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. Golf is the best sport on the planet. Okay, they'll find a way.
False.
Golf is the best sport that there is.
It's a good sport. Not the best.
It's super fun when you're out of high school and your knees don't let you play pickup basketball anymore. I love that.
Right now, brother.
No, listen, and listen, guys. That's not a dig at you golfers, you high school golfers. You guys can kick my butt up and down the course. I'm not taking anything away from you. I'm just busting Tom's chop. But no, listen, guys. There's a lot of kids this year that they're going to be affected, volleyball, and it's not just Ryan brought up a good point too. It's not like this is just magically going to stop when basketball season comes around.
Right. Basketball right. But I mean, the convenient thing about basketball, well, no, it's not even convenient. I'm going down the wrong page. I mean, I was just thinking there's usually less kids. I don't know how many's rostered on a team, 11, 12 maybe.
Everybody watching here, and you let everybody know who is watching this. Let's get the word out. And this is kind of a curveball, I guess, because I haven't really run this past the show, but I know these guys and this will work. If you have a senior athlete this year, if you have a fall senior athlete, you send us a picture and you give us a brief bio and we will feature them on this show. They don't necessarily have to be on the show. We'll throw their picture up and we'll talk about their upcoming season, where anything you want to say about them, how great they are, what they've done. We will put them on here. That way they can get some love in a year that they didn't get as much love as they should have. So calling all parents, everybody watching, let your friends know and the friends of their friends know. If you have a senior this year, send us their senior photo, give us a bio on them. And for these athletes that aren't getting them, we'll put them up here and we'll give them some love.
Yeah, we have 2 minutes and 48 seconds of just looking at an image of 4-4 on goal being put out there right at the beginning. We can
right.
chop it up there, chop it up at the end, chop it up in the middle too. So we got a lot of time to put out there. Send us that stuff. And really, I mean, it would be great. Let us know what sport it is and just a good image. We love images. So
Yeah, listen, it's senior picture time. I know you guys got them back because I remember this time. I remember my mother yelling at me because I had to get up and get dressed in the middle of summer in clothes that it was way too hot to be wearing that stuff.
Yep.
Like, who wears long sleeve shirts in the summer? But,
Yep.
you know, it's senior picture time and they care about it. But my mother really cared about it. I think she cared about those pictures more than I did.
well, you know what? I kind of like the segue we're going into. I know we're going to talk about Beaver in a minute, but I really want to get into high school basketball a little bit and what your guys' thoughts are going to be, like the issues that we're going to run into. You know, is it going to be?
I like that.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so it's not just high school though; it's also college. Okay, so I'm going to make a multi-tiered point here. Basketball is the one sport that you can really benefit from one season. Okay, so I'm gonna throw a college reference out here real quick, and then we can go back to high school. So I don't know how many people follow college basketball. I know, Sammy, you follow the NBA draft, NBA very closely. So,
And not to interrupt you, Tom, but the March Madness was canceled, wasn't it?
precisely, and that's kind of where I'm going to. So there was a young man from Dayton named Obi Toppin. Okay, by all accounts, Obi Toppin is a fantastic basketball player, and he has been his entire collegiate career. However, Obi Toppin was a fringe first round pick, high second round maybe, but he needed this year. Okay, if this year didn't happen, Obi Toppin is not being regarded as a first or second overall pick. With the year he had, Obi Toppin is now in the conversation for first or second overall, and he benefited from it. So these kids in high school, the same thing. You have some kids, and not just let's not relegate ourselves to Ohio. Let's relegate ourselves to the United States in general. There are some kids that are 2-star, 3-star college basketball prospects. They come out and they have a great senior year. They get vaunted into that 5-star discussion, and the difference between a 3-star and a 5-star is you're either going to Central Arkansas State, Tennessee Chattanooga, or you're going to USC, West Virginia, Ohio State, Duke. I mean, these kids really need it, and basketball is really the sport that is going to take the biggest hit in terms of recruitment of athletes, because I don't care what anyone says, you can be as great as you want in Rucker Park, but that ain't going to get you a scholarship to Duke. That ain't
right. Right. I mean, as far as like collegiate wise, I mean, they took the first domino effect, during March Madness to move into the next level. But you're right. High school level is going to be very unique. Last year they were able to play in the high school level. This year we'll see how it goes. But I'm really just curious on, how many people are usually rostered on a high school basketball team? What is it, 10, 11, 12, 13?
I think it's
10 to 12.
13. You usually have, you can have, it's typically 12. I think some teams carry 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could kind of probably look at it into a way that like the MLB is doing it. There's probably 15 to 16 guys and how they separate, how they spread things out. But at a high school level, man, I know those, I mean, when there's fans there, they get raucous at a high school basketball game. Oh, that's the beauty of basketball. You can have one stud basketball player on a team, and it will bring in the whole community. You know what I mean? But the biggest concern that I have is they've been saying when COVID first actually came across the board, they were saying the biggest uptick there's actually said now is when the heat's out there won't be as much going on. The virus is going to diminish, and then you will probably see a big uptick that September, October, November when flu season begins. And that's right when basketball season begins. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest concern is, Ohio, I know, and the what I seen showed 1,700 yesterday. Sammy said it was different for today, whatever it is. What's the uptick going to be during flu season? And how is that going to affect basketball is my biggest question, because I don't know how you play with fans in the stands. The NBA is not doing it. And by the way, not to go totally off topic here, I want to be a live NBA fan. Have you guys seen that? I was watching the Lakers play last night, I think it was.
Yeah.
I want to be a live NBA fan.
So not just basketball. There's another sport that we're forgetting about in the winter that is going to be affected more so than basketball.
Wrestling?
That's wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling is a sport that if this thing is not figured out, there's no way it's going to happen. Football is already a push because you got guys running into each other momentarily. Okay, they're sweating. They're
this Wi-Fi.
They're sweating and they're spitting and stuff like that. Wrestling, you got guys actually, grabbing and grappling. So that I don't know how that's going to happen if this doesn't work. If we can't figure it out for football, I don't see how it's going to work for wrestling. And wrestling is a big, big sport out here. Some of our the very best athletes that have ever walked the roads of Ashtabula wrestle.
Yeah.
Kyle Cannell is a legend. He's a legend. The dude beat the number 1 seed from Ohio State, parlayed that into a scholarship from Kent State to Penn State. All right. Wrestler, opening up the doors. St. John's School, everybody gives them crap because they're small. I'll tell you right now, St. John's School has one of the best wrestling programs I've ever seen in my life. Ever. Those kids are as tough as anybody I've ever seen. It was either, maybe not last year, but the year before, they had three kids on the podium from one small Division VI school. So,
yeah,
we've got to figure this out for these kids and these sports. There are some of those kids I can guarantee you that without wrestling don't go to college. They don't have a way into college.
But couldn't the argument be made though with wrestling that it would be easier to contain that environment?
How?
Yeah.
Well, here's the reason. Here's my. I mean, the wrestling team is an unlimited number of kids. Whoever wants to wrestle probably can wrestle, right? I mean, you don't just say I only take 3 and that's it, right? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm saying, a mat that they're on, and it is distinguished between 2 people, two wrestlers,
in direct
with one ref
with each other.
Right. Sure. I get that. Just like football is direct close contact. I mean, and you're right. It's skin to skin contact. It's not, pad to pad, helmet to helmet. You know what I mean? But there's 2. And right. So here, just give me a minute, Sammy. I know you're all sitting on the edge of your chair over there, ready just to fall off of it and everything. Just relax, okay? All right.
I want to just send a quick shout out to City Manager Jim Timonier for tuning into the show.
Oh,
hey, thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. But yeah, so my theory is, and this is, I guess, just the way I see it. Again, if I'm wrong, just tell me I'm wrong. I understand. 2 people wrestle. Then you immediately before the match, you could probably sanitize, all that fun stuff, whatever you need to do. Walk through a UV light. I don't know, UV light, take your temperature. I don't know, whatever it is. You wrestle, match is over. Immediately go to the shower room, take a shower, get cleaned, all that fun jazz. Walk out of the building while getting your temperature. Before the next match proceeds, the mat is thoroughly sanitized with whatever, something that, whatever Walmart sprays on every single cart going through the thing there. The mat is thoroughly sanitized, kills all bacteria, viruses, anything of that nature. The next mat moves on. Whatever it is, I don't care. All I'm saying is, it just
There was
seems like
paint thinner going on that shit.
I only laugh because you're talking about a sport that has a pretty continuous outbreak of ringworm. So I don't know. I don't know. And they try to sanitize, but
I'm particularly talking about just the match itself.
Yeah.
Obviously, ringworm doesn't necessarily come from one match. You're sprawling and grappling and DDTing and RKOing all the time.
That's not how wrestling works, Ryan.
I know. I had to put it out there. It felt really good.
Listen. The way it works, though, is so what you really would have to worry about is in a tournament, which is where wrestling is really done.
Yeah.
In a tournament,
the Kenson Invitational.
I don't know if Jefferson still has a big tournament, but they used to have a big tournament for kids. Chardon had a tournament. Perry had a tournament. Kent has a tournament. Anyway, in a tournament, so if say you have one kid that beats everybody else, okay, and he ends up winning that day, and by chance that kid tests positive for COVID, he has then put what's the average? It's 6 typically, 6 to 8 kids. You're gonna have to wrestle to win a championship. He's put 6 to 8 kids at risk.
Yeah,
but what's the one kid on a football team or basketball team? The 6 to 8 versus 100?
No, I mean I see what you're saying. I agree with you.
I'm just saying.
The football team is going to be more widespread. It's going to be more widespread, but the wrestling is going to be more likely
contained. I don't know. I mean, why is it more likely?
Because it is, dude. You are on top of that, dude. If it's any indication, let me just put it out there for you. When we were wrestling, I had to wrestle Pat Buddy one day, and I'm wrestling with Pat Buddy, and that dude gets me to the ground, and he was taunting me and kissed me on the lips. Okay, that type of shit happens in wrestling. That's going to happen. You ain't going to contain that. Okay, so
I mean,
COVID spreads.
I get
wrestling.
I get that. I do, but it just seems to me like wrestling still can be contained between 2 wrestlers, 2 coaches, and a ref. 5 people.
Yeah,
and then I mean, like right now, to go to Mario's, I'm not trying to go to Mario's barbershop. They've contained it to 3.
Correct.
Yeah.
But
and when it's your turn, you're waiting in your car, or you're warming up outside of your car. Mats are sanitized, new ref, or sanitized ref, whatever.
I think Ryan, you're right on. You're right on with the restriction. You're dead on. You've got it. You've nailed it. I think you are correct there, man. It's the question are you able? It's going to be the question is how likely is the spread? And honestly, wrestling is going to be the most likely of spread.
So why though?
Sammy,
because you're touching each other.
Think about this.
Because you're not just touching each other. You're literally, if you're in the down position, you've got a dude's head right next to yours.
Right next to yours. And the other thing,
the quarterback has his hand on the bottom of the guy's balls.
Well, luckily you don't breathe through there. Okay, you're not throwing dry. You're not throwing. No, it's different. All right. At no point in football, do you have face to face like that. But where you do as well? Basketball.
So Sammy,
every time when I played football, every time I lined up, I was face to face with somebody.
Yeah, with the helmets, with a helmet in front, a face mask in front of you.
My bad. There was a couple bars to block me from getting. I mean, I had a visor. I got a bad eye. Okay, I was the one that had the I got lucky, I guess, because they gave me a visor. Because if I got poked in the other eye, I was done. I was blind for the rest of my life. Okay, all I'm saying is, anyways, just go, Tom. I know I keep interrupting you, Tom. I'm very sorry.
You're cool. So, Sammy, practices. When we were at Gwinnett Field, or not Gwinnett Field, the field house. Harbor. The field house. Okay. Let's you and I run through a typical practice there. So we get there, we get butt ass naked, we weigh in, because Ansevitz and Kelly Prime wanted us to weigh in. We run around that mat for 30 minutes. We're sweating our balls off. We roll around with each other. We do the monkey rolls. Remember those?
Yeah.
Okay, so we do that. Kids like me who were the 160 weight class, who had Kenny Fulkerson, Mike Endy, and Tyler King ahead of me. I'm over there with the other JVC team at that time, and I'm jumping rope, I'm running, I'm spitting. I have chewing tobacco in because Ansevitz says, "Hey, you can spit." Yeah, that happened. Let's not get bugged eyes there, Sammy. It happened. It was 15 years ago. It's cool. But you know, some things happen. I mean, you're not gonna at a wrestling practice where there were, no joke, Sammy, there were probably 25 to 30 of us. In an environment that was all of 50 by 50, in terms of like size of the field house. I mean, and then you got to go shower together. Literally, we were required to shower afterward. Our lockers were this far apart from each other. Our shit was right there. You're telling me if I put my sweaty, shirt up there, and then Mitch Withrow walks by me and sits in the locker next to me, and I touch that shirt, it's not going to smack Mitch, and he's going to get some COVID drops on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, the practice is where it comes into effect. It's not the matches, because like you said, Sammy, Ryan, you hit it dead on with the matches. It's the practice that happens the other 5 days a week. And you can't contain that, man. You cannot contain that.
You can, though. You can.
How?
That's the coach's job to take that. So all the stuff you're talking about was just that is just kind of the way that worked at our school. And that's how wrestling practice worked amongst the crew that we had and the coaching and that sort of stuff. But I will tell you this, if you told the coach that can't happen, or you are, if you told coaches that can't happen, otherwise there's no wrestling this year, they would find different ways to get around that. But even if you put all of the safety restrictions you could possibly think of, if you put every single safety restriction in the whole world and every social distancing measure in the whole world, at the end of the day, wrestlers still have to grapple each other.
That's what I'm kind of getting at. We still were in close proximity.
Yeah, they still have to grapple each other. And then at practice, they're still going to grapple someone else. And you're more likely spread. It's more likely spread. You have you're on top of each other. There is no distancing at all. In football, there's at least a little bit of distance.
Yeah. And they have gloves. They have gloves. They have the long socks on.
Well, even if they're just wearing the bare minimums of it, you know what I mean? Like, you have a helmet and 2 face masks, so as close as you're getting to somebody's lips is about here.
With wrestling, it's right here.
With wrestling, they're in your face. You're rubbing your head on somebody else's.
And that's a move. It's a move. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's different. So we really need to get football in order. We need to get the fall sports in order, because winter sports at this point are very much at risk.
Correct. So,
and basketball too. Question. Are you not going to be allowed to post up in basketball?
Correct.
3-point shots only.
We don't do that anymore anyway. Probably do 2 threes.
Golden State ball.
So here's my question for you guys. With all these sports and all the measures that need to be taken, does it make sense, because the education system is starting to selectively do things like, hey, we're only opening, and I don't know for a fact, you know what I mean? This is just like, conjecture essentially. Hey, we're going to have school 2 days a week and, virtual learning the other 3. So we're evolving, and we're picking and choosing kind of what we're going to do so that we can do it the most effective. Could we see schools say, hey, guess what? We're only going to have football this fall. In winter sports, we're only going to have basketball. In spring sports, we're only going to have track, because these are our money makers for our schools. We need to focus on this and making this the most safe.
And do you know why?
No, that's why I'm asking you the question.
Title IX.
Okay.
Title IX will Title IX will keep that from ever happening.
Happen. Okay.
So, which is one of the reasons why Title IX was enacted, was so schools could not only push out the boys' sports that were making money. They had to make sports available for females as well.
All right. We're going to the next topic. I don't care what you guys say.
You look like your head's going to blow off, John Goodman.
Hey. Teachers are threatening to strike down here. I'm just reading Rich's comments. All right, so I'm going right into punter grunt. We only got a little bit of time, and I think punter grunt's going to take the most of it. And then because I think it's going to be it's an interesting punter grunt, and kudos to Sammy on this one because I almost brought up the old one. There goes Tom yet again in his Dollar Tree internet. Anywho, oh, and he's back.
Listen, you should change your name from Tommy 2 Chains to Tommy 2 Bars because that's only 2 bars of service.
Tommy dial up.
Tommy
boy.
Tommy 56K.
Yeah.
All right, right into a little bit of punter grunt, one of my favorite segments. We haven't done it in a while, but
Man,
all right, so all you viewers, hey, and very nice. It's kind of weird with the Scottish Hammer being on there now. You know, I don't know. We may have to change that. Yeah. But so all the viewers that are watching right now and the ones afterwards, if you guys are watching the segment, punter grunt is simply 3 different questions that we have. We come up with an answer based off of the way we feel. Punt means it's a no-go, it ain't happening. Grunt means you're running with it and you like it. So first question of the hour. Will there be a Super Bowl? And okay, now I can put it up there. Will there be a Super Bowl? So I'll let Tom go. Let's let Tom go first on this. Punter grunt and why?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna grunt that. I mean, there's too much money to be lost. It comes down to money. Yeah, of course there's gonna be a Super Bowl. It comes down to money. That's it.
Okay.
Totally thought that was going to be a little bit longer. But anyway, Sammy, you are I'm sorry, Tom. I'm probably going to come up with a 3-word answer. It might just be one. It might just be grunt, and that's it. Moving on.
Anyway. So is there going to be a Super Bowl this year? I'm punting on that. I understand that money is an issue. They want money, they're going to need money, want money, but I think the way that sports are going right now with outbreaks, with positive tests, we have yet to see this really bad season coming upon us, which is between November and January, between November and February, when the illnesses are going to grow and get much worse. So I can see the NFL starting and potentially ending early. So no Super Bowl. I am going to punt on that.
All right. I'm up, and it's a grunt. Tom's 130% right. It's all about them Bills, baby. It's all about the Bills. And I'll tell you one reason why, and it's down in Dallas at Jerry's World. That cat will do everything in his power to make sure there is a Super Bowl because for the past decade, the Dallas Cowboys have been Super Bowl contenders, and they've not won anything past the first round of the playoffs. But every year, Jerry's World thinks it's going to happen. He's a big reason why I think it will. And honestly, the NFL is about money. It's about getting paid. And the NFL's whole motto is next man up. And I don't think COVID is going to matter. If you got COVID, we'll see you. We got another guy on the practice squad that can fill that position right on in. No big deal. Moving on. So I'm grunting. There will be a Super Bowl. I won't say it will be
one superstar away. One superstar away from them canceling the season.
So you're saying if
Tom Brady or Mahomes come down with
I would just
COVID,
say, the man with the greatest chance of having an underlying condition, Tom Brady, he comes
the
down
older
with
fan
it.
in football. Yeah,
Right. Oh, he comes down with it. You're saying they cancel the whole season.
yeah. I think that's when it tips into the other direction.
I don't think so. I think the NFL is going to keep riding through it, just like the MLB is going to. The MLB, there's just a team with half their roster.
Oh, yeah. You know what's
Just-
funny about that? Let me read something to you. I'm glad you said that.
What are the Marlins doing? Tell me, because I know that's where we're going.
So this is tweeted directly from Rob Manfred. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred told the MLBPA Executive Director Tony Clark on Friday that if the sport does not do a better job of managing this coronavirus, it will end up with a shutdown for the season. That is from the Major League Baseball Commissioner today.
He can do it.
So-
He can say it if he wants to. He's the
They're
one. Hey,
already-
man, he's
Listen,
the one that pushed it. He's
it's
the one
already
that said that.
it's already hitting home. It's already
can.
hitting home. It's
They can.
already hitting home because the Marlins testing positive, and then you had who's the other team that tested positive today? Minnesota. So they tested
They're
positive
going to.
they tested positive in Minnesota, so they wanted to push the game today.
Yeah,
So,
I mean they're
let me
going
ask you a
to.
question.
There's going to be a lot of double headers. Let me tell you.
It's only going to take a couple more instances like this, and I'm telling you, it's going bye-bye.
I don't think so. Go, Tom. What were you saying?
So let me ask a question. We're talking about sports shutting down for this. And these guys are peak athletes. They're in peak physical condition. They're very low risk to the risk is always there, but they're very low risk to have serious ramifications from the disease. Okay. A couple of those guys get sick, and Manfred says if it's not done better, we're going to shut this down. And I get it. But why can they shut it down? But if someone at my dealers, like my place of work, my campus as a whole, gets COVID, it's just going to be business as usual. Does their life matter that much more because they make millions of dollars?
Well,
Kind of a good point.
The,
No,
like,
it doesn't
let's say I
matter
got
much
COVID.
more. First off,
Let's
no.
say I got COVID. Okay. They're going to be like, all right, Tom, go home for a few weeks. Hey, we're going to keep selling cars. Francisco Lindor gets it. God forbid. Oh, man, we're going to shut down the MLB. Well, why is his infection more important than mine?
I mean, do you want the real answer, or do you?
Yeah, I do. That's why I'm asking.
So the real answer is because
National spotlight.
monetarily, he is much more important than you or me or Ryan. Monetarily, okay.
Well,
that's where
sad.
False.
it's. I mean, that's the big and small of it. Him being at work brings his job millions upon millions of dollars. On your best week, you're bringing $100,000 in. If you killed, you'd have to kill. You know what I mean?
Ryan,
Why not in a job? So in a job, you have to you're held accountable for doing right, doing wrong, whatever it may be. If the Marlins can't contain the situation to the best of their ability, axe them. They don't have to be in the playoff race.
that's what
They
I'm
don't
saying.
have to be.
Like, okay, so the Marlins.
It's
so
just
the
like look
Marlins
what the
get COVID.
NBA did.
Go
The
home.
NBA is a great example. They didn't allow 8 teams to come in because they sucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think
That's-
the difference is, I think you're forgetting is that that the NBA had already been playing, so there was a there was comparative data.
Yeah.
There were they had already had standings. The MLB is starting. The MLB is trying to play an entire. There's no way to tell what the teams were going to be this year. So yeah, you could kick the Marlins out, but then you have an incomplete season. I don't know if they
For
want
the
that.
Marlins.
Yeah,
the Marlins?
for baseball. For baseball.
it is what it is. It's a forfeit for every team.
The point of the World Series is to say that you are the best baseball team that year of all the teams. So
and no one's ever going to take that to heart. There's going to be
if you don't have every team playing, then that's the question.
Right. But there's going to be enough asterisks next to it this year. No one's going to care about this season. The guy from the Dodgers, that Joe Kelly, just got suspended for 8 games. Do you think he cares about the season at all after what he did to the Astros? Rightfully so, what he did. He don't give a damn about the season. He does not. Nobody in that organization gives a damn about the season. We all know that the Dodgers are a contender this year, right? Am I right?
They are.
Major contender. They don't care. They're just playing to play to put some extra change in their pocket. This year means absolutely nothing to anybody. It might mean something to the first-year ball boy that gets a ring because he got lucky enough to be the ball boy out there. But anyone that means anything in the MLB, it means nothing to him. Do you think Frankie Lindor is going to go right home about how the Indians won the World Series through a 60-game season?
Yeah,
no.
I do actually.
No,
I think
no, they won't.
I think,
no, they won't.
Ryan, I think you have a very, very skewed view of what baseball fans think. And I promise you, whatever team wins the World Series this year, they're going to be lit. That whole fan base is going to be lit.
They can be. I'm not saying not to be happy about winning it. What I'm saying is the players themselves are not going to be satisfied with this season. Not a chance. It's a third of the season to win what equates to win a World Series. It's a third of the season. You did a third of the work of everyone else. Just what it is. They're not going to be satisfied with it. They're going to want to come back next year on a new team and be done with it, or not a new team, but on the same team, and hopefully win it that way.
I disagree. I mean, you don't have people calling. You do have people calling, but they don't. It's just by mouth. They're not taking away Houston's World Series that they obviously very blatantly cheated to win. That's baseball. Baseball.
But they cheated through 82 games.
162.
Whatever, 162 games.
60 games this year. It's already a quarter of a season or an eighth of a season, whatever it is. And then you're going to take an entire team out. An entire team, and no, they're not going to do it. They'll shut the season down, and that's not my words. That's the MLB commissioner. That's what he just said. That's from the words. Take the words from the horse's mouth. That's what he said today. Either get this COVID under wraps, or I'll shut this shit down. Is what he's saying.
Then you got the next punter grunt there, Sammy. Right on deck. Here you go. Will there be a World Series?
Punt. I'm punting. No, I don't think so. I think baseball and their stupid non-bubble forming ways will result in no World Series this year because there is another outbreak on the horizon, and that's going to do it. You get another team, you get one more outbreak like this, Manfred's like, all right, that's it. We're not doing this. You know why? Because it's the same reason, and I'm not trying to get political here, everybody watching this, or, all 3 people logged in. But anybody watching this in the future as well, I'm not trying to get political here, but it's the same reason that the stimulus package got held up, because there is still liability. And if they provide a work environment that is conducive of the spread of COVID, they can still be liable. So when it gets out of hand, if it becomes so where the spread of COVID is, well understood, and they're not taking everything to stop it, they are liable. And these aren't Joe Schmoes. These aren't guys like us who can't afford attorney coverage. These are guys that the attorneys are looking every time they cough, and they're like, let's get him, because you're a millionaire, but he's a billionaire. So
Tom's on deck.
I'm gonna punt on the World Series. There's a lot of money to be lost, but I mean, Sam, you summed it up pretty succinctly. But the only problem I kind of have with what you said was they have attorneys and, liability, but it was very clearly stated you can opt out at any time.
You're right.
You can opt out. So if I'm an owner, I would come back and be like, well, you could have opted out.
You're right.
No one was forcing you to play baseball this year. Faces of the game aren't playing this year. David Price, he's declined in terms of production, but make no mistake, David Price is probably still one of the 10 faces of baseball in terms of pitching. He said, no, I ain't playing, man.
No, but Tom, you're forgetting. Are they being negligent? That's where.
Listen, if I felt that my job was being negligent, I'd be like, listen, I ain't coming in, dude.
Okay.
I ain't coming in.
You can say that, but if you get hurt due to negligence, the case is there. And these owners know that, because if they trust me, if there was no liability issue, they'd be like, yeah, you guys are playing. I don't care. Do what you want. But the fact that they're even considering this, yeah, I'd let you know that the fact that this has made it all the way to Capitol Hill, that they're trying to get protections passed through a bill to cover to free people of liability lets you know that it exists.
Oh yeah, I mean, liability for sure exists. I mean, I just think it's I don't know.
All right, so I'm going to go with Gron, and it's based off of my statement before, me and Sammy's little argument we had there. The MLB, I won't say in dire strait for cash in any way, shape, or form, but they've made contracts, they've done certain things, which obviously maybe they have ways out of it. The MLB will have a World Series. It may only be a 20-team race at the end of it. It may not be.
And he is damn correct.
Yep, he is.
He is dead on.
But they're not going to start a season and not finish it. That's just what it is. And so here, I guess, hear me out on this. They may start the season. They may delay it. Maybe they say too many issues. Let's take a step back. We're 30 games in out of the 60. Let's pick it back up, right in the spring. And then we'll go, they'll have to play a little bit more next year. Whatever, something like the NBA did. The NBA backed out.
Tom, please explain to him why that wouldn't work. Please explain to him why playing more baseball next year wouldn't work.
Because
why wouldn't it?
If you played more baseball next year, you have more of a season. So the players want more money.
That's it. That's it. Because the reason why they're only playing 60 games this year was because they fought over money. So if you told them they're going to play,
there's going to be a money fight. But I'm saying the season. It's not going to be a conjoined season. I'm not saying you're going to play an extra 30 games on top of the 160 you're already playing. I'm saying maybe everyone has to go out west where it's warm and finish up the season somewhere. Maybe that's what it is, in a bubble, because they realize there's a bubble. So the World Series, we may not have, October playoffs? I think it's October, isn't it? We may not have October playoffs. We may have, February playoffs this year. Do you stay away from the model that the MLB is currently running, quarantining the players and staff, and then enter a bubble with a set number of team attorney style for the title? Yeah, I mean, that's basically, again, I don't think the commission's going to or Fred Manfred's going to shut it down. I think he's going to realize this is not working. Huh?
Rob
Manfred.
Whatever. Mr. Manfred. Okay, he's not going to shut it down. He's going to realize something isn't working. Take a step back. What's wrong with pausing? You don't have to continue it. There's an all-star break in a regular season. Just call it an all-star break. Whatever you want to call it, and then move on. And maybe you got to wait till February when it all clears up and you have a better idea what the best situation is. And you may be going out to Southern California for the last 30 games of the season, whatever it may be. And then and go from there. Because this could be a model. Honestly, this may be a model, whether it's the NFL, whether it's basketball, whether it's baseball, soccer. We might be dealing with this same model for the next 5 years. That's the other thing.
You are right there, man. I agree with you.
Right.
I think what they're learning is I think it's going to have to be a bubble. I think you're going to have to get to a bubble. But Ryan, what you're not taking into account, and this is what I was trying to get out of Tom too. The NFLPA is not, or the MLBPA is not to be played with. They will shut that shit down quicker than anybody. So if the players don't feel that they are getting the best end of the deal, they won't do it. And that includes a delay in season, or because they'll come out and they'll say, oh, it's not fair play. My advertisement money was based on being in the playoffs, and now my team has to take time off. They've got guys that are going to jump all over that. And they don't give a damn about finishing a baseball season or anything, because all they care about is them.
But if I'm looking at it from the MLBPA, or at the MLBPA, I'm looking at it as the MLBPA has lost all credibility to me, because the MLBPA has pretty definitively come out and said all they care about is their money. They don't care about their safety. But then when all this stuff starts coming around, because you didn't hear about safety, like you didn't hear initially, you didn't hear guys like Bryce Harper like, oh man, like I want to be in a bubble, then I'll play baseball. What you heard was Bryce Harper, well, am I going to get my money?
Yep.
Am I going to get my money? Like, so,
but correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Manfred push the season on?
Rob Manfred did, but Rob Manfred was in a dogfight to get that season on because he needed to appease money and nothing else.
No, I don't think he was in a dogfight. He had the authority to push the season.
Yes, he can
positive.
say.
And then
he can say, we're playing.
That's exactly
right.
it.
So, then he could go around and go on strike.
Exactly. And that's what he was risking. That's what he was risking, but they figured it out.
Money.
And the only reason they figured it out is because there's a shot that there's going to be a strike next year.
And at this point, the players have shown me, and I think they've shown you guys, that they only are concerned about safety when it benefits their own personal agenda. The only thing they're concerned with is prorated salary at this point. And the thing is, yeah, I'm concerned with money at my job, but I'm also concerned with I'm not going to bring COVID home to my kid. You know what I mean? Like
that's basically what I was getting at when I said that, is that with baseball, it will always turn into a money thing.
It always will.
And because of that, it makes it very hard to make any changes.
But that's any sport. That's any
no,
sport
not,
that's paid.
It's not, though. It's not. None of the other sports are as hard to deal with as MLB. The closest is probably the NFL, and they get back down fairly quickly.
The NBA was literally more concerned with starting in a safe environment than they were their money, because those guys know I have my contract, I have my video game residuals, I have my shoe money, I have my Gatorade money, I have all this. Baseball players wanted to cry poor and say, oh, well, what about my salary? As Bryce Harper's raking in $563 million. Well, now LeBron is raking in a good amount of money, and I'm an outspoken proponent against LeBron, but I'm going to tell you, LeBron's first thing was, well, am I going to be safe? Are my teammates going to be safe?
Different agendas, different sports. Last question of the night before we get out of here. Will there be a BCS National Championship? I'm going first because you guys already went first before me. I don't care. And I'm punting. And I know you're what do you mean?
I hope
what do you mean?
I hope you're punting because the BCS doesn't
exist. There is no BCS, so I'm going to punt on
What is it called? We did this together. I wrote this out.
We corrected you 5 times.
No, you didn't.
It's the college football championship.
I thought it was a BCS championship.
No.
College
championship series hasn't existed since 2013.
You know what? At the end of the year this year, we're gonna have to put together a clip show.
There you go. This should be fixed. I know, and no one told me this 5 times. I said it out loud 3 times, and Sammy was probably too busy looking at his damn phone. Anyways. I'm punting strictly on the fact that they're not paid to play yet.
Okay.
That's it.
I'm
go ahead, Tom.
I'm gonna punt I mean, like you said, they aren't getting paid to play. There's no incentive for them. You got kids that sit out right now. Jadeveon
And they got to sign a waiver right now.
Yes. Jadeveon Clowney, that bowl game, he said, nah, I ain't playing. That running back from South Carolina a few years ago, Lattimore, I think his last name was, he sat out to prepare for the draft. A lot of kids are doing that. I mean, this is no different. They're going to sit out. Bowl games just aren't important this year, man. Your health and your safety so you can go to the next level is more paramount at this point. Kids are becoming more socially, politically, and culturally aware than they ever have been before. A state of, I hate this word, but woke than they ever have been. And they realize the ramifications of playing in something that doesn't benefit them and only benefits the institution that they go to.
Shout out to Coach John Butchko tuning in.
Hey,
What up, Coach?
So at this point, I'm going to punt on that because the kids see the value in investing in themselves now. And that's a great thing, especially in this time. Now, if it were any other time, I would grunt. But with COVID, it's a big punt for me, man.
I'm going to punt based on the fact that I don't think there's going to be a college football full season this year. So there's already colleges across the country already have gone completely remote when it comes to instruction this year. You have entire conferences who have declined to play this year. The SEC finally got around to figuring out that they were the only people who are going to play each other. So they finally announced today that they're going to do a conference-only schedule. You can't have a national championship, I think, with college football teams playing only within their conference. I think basically what's going to happen this year with college football is basically the same thing that's going to happen with all sports. In the time of COVID, be happy with what you get.
Oh, precisely. Hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head, man. Actually, Sam, with conference only schedules, there could be a BCS national champion because you would go to
a computer champion. You're right, actually,
champion, man.
You are right. There could be a computer champion.
Ryan, I wasn't totally wrong.
You weren't totally
wrong.
Good job.
That's right.
All right.
You listen. Everybody who's watching this later too. Remember, on Tuesday, what'd you say to me?
No, I was saying how nice your hair look.
I talked to AM radio. Yeah. You look like John Goodman.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Listen, Tuesday, we've got Lakeside head football coach Buzz Edwards on the show. So Edgewood showed up in droves. The Falcons showed up in droves. The Herald showed up in droves. Let's see what Ashtabula Area City Schools has got.
Yeah.
Let's see the support. Love to see it. Super pumped about them coming up here. Obviously, everyone here knows it's our alma mater for all three of us. That's where we did graduate from. So very excited about getting Coach Edwards on here. But yeah, the artist formerly known, the artist known as Ryan. I'm getting out of here tonight, boys.
I look forward to seeing everybody on Tuesday. It's going to be a hell of a show. Thank you to everybody who watched, everybody who commented, everybody who makes these shows as great as they are.
Absolutely. Tom, I was rocking a Prince shirt.
Purple rain, purple rain.
And when I die, bury me in a purple velour suit. Anyway, Tom, I'm out of here. Have a good night.
All right, don't forget to like the stream, share the stream, hop over to YouTube, help us out. We got to get some likes on there. Notification bell, subscribe, all that fun jazz. Deuces!
Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and gold. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.